Hi everybody, welcome back to Philosophy Media. So in this video we're going to go over loops in Bash, specifically the for loop and the while loop. Chances are if you're writing a script and you've come to the point where you're thinking to yourself that you may need a loop, chances are you'll end up using one of these two. So I thought I'd cover both. Over here on my website, as you can see, I have a few different examples. I got some for loops and some for while loops. And I think what I'll do today is just go over each one of these examples. It does look like a lot, but there's really not much here. As you can see, the level of complexity on each of these isn't very high. And yeah, I think we'll go through them pretty quick. So to start off, I think we'll start with this guy right here. And this is just a good example of a for loop at its most basic level. As all we're doing here is we're going to print out some text to the screen, just some text. And we're going to do that 10 times. And after that, the for loop will close and the script will exit. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I guess I'll just start with this guy right here. And I'm just going to copy and paste this in a text editor. We'll talk about it for a little bit and then we'll run it. And then maybe we can add some functionality to it, determine what iterations we're going to use, where they start and where they end, stuff like that. Yeah. But for now, I'm just going to copy this and go over to my terminal. And the first thing we have to do is create a file to run these examples from. And to do that, we can just use the touch command. So I'll just say touch. And I think I'm just going to call this example.sh. And now if I list my storage here, you can see there it is. We still have to make it executable, of course, before we can actually do anything with it. So to do that, we can use the change mod command. So that's chmod and +x, and then the name of the file. And now it's executable. So now we can open up in a text editor. And I'm just going to use Vim for today, but of course, any other text editor will do. Example.sh. And then I'll copy and paste this code right here. So I'll just copy that. Come back here. And paste it in. And then I'll give it a save. Okay, so right up here at the very top, we have the shebang. And that just points to where the bash interpreter is on the system. If you don't know where this is, or you don't know the path to bash on your system, chances are it'll just be the same as mine, as what you're seeing right here, user bin bash. But sometimes it does happen where this path may just be in bin bash. But if you're not sure, you can always just easily check. And do that, you can just open up a terminal. And just type which, bash, and enter. And that'll give you the path to where bash is installed right there. And that covers the first line. And then after that, we have our for loop. So all this is going to do is print out this line right here to the screen 10 times and exit. So at the very beginning, we have for I in sequence of 10, do this. So all the stuff in this block right here will be repeated 10 times. And the I is pretty much this convention. I think of it as standing for item or iteration, I guess, for if you're going through items in a list. If you do look at other examples online of for loops, you will commonly see I there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just convention. So that's just what I'm going with in these examples. But yeah, let's give this a run here and see what happens. So I'm just going to save and quit. And then to run it, we can just use the / and say example.sh. And as you can see, it's just printing out that one line, just some text. And it should stop after the 10th iteration. Yeah, there we go. So if I count these up, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Let's jump over to the website here and see what's next. So then if I scroll down, we got another example right here. That's pretty much exactly the same as the one we just ran, with the exception of this variable right here. The $sign indicates that we're using a predetermined variable, and that variable is actually set right here in this for loop. So similar to last one, we're just saying for I in sequence of 10, do this stuff right here. And then we're going to add the iteration count to the very end of each one of those lines. So maybe we can test that out. So I'll just copy this And go back here, open up our example again. And then if I delete all this stuff and paste in the stuff from the website, you can see we have pretty much exactly the same thing with the addition of this guy right here. So now we run this, we should see the same thing that we just saw before, except it will also have an iteration count right beside it. And to demonstrate that, I'll just save and quit this and then run it. So I'll say example.sh. And there we go, just some text, 1, 2, 3. So the same stuff as we have right here, except we also get the count too. And it stops at 10, perfect. Okay, let's go back over to the website and see what else we can do with this. Okay, right here, another example. Again, just the exact same thing. Except this time we're actually going to just be, I guess, indexing the items or specifying the iterations. So say instead of using what we used up here with the sequence 10, instead down here, we're saying that we want to start at the first iteration and we want to end at the 10th iteration. So we can actually specify where we start and where we end. And this should give us actually the exact same result, as it will just print out this line right here 10 times, followed by the iteration number. So maybe we can try to run this. And then after we've done that, we can just come back and change these values right here and see what happens when we do that. So I'll just copy all this. And then go back here and just open up our example document again and delete all this stuff and paste this stuff. Now I'll just save it. Okay, so right at the top, of course, we have the shebang as usual, and then we have our for loop. So instead of saying sequence 10 here, we're giving the start position of 1 and an end position right here of 10. And all we're doing is the same as the other examples. We're printing out just some text with our iteration right there. And then after that, and then after the 10th one, it will close the loop and then exit the script. So I'll just save and quit this and run it. And that looks familiar. It's all the exact same thing we did last time. We got there a little bit differently, I guess. So if we open that up again and come down here and change these values. So say if we don't want to start at the first position or the first iteration, or we want to refer to the first iteration instead of 1, say we could use something like 10. And then we can maybe come over here and get rid of this guy and throw in a 2. So now our iterations should start from 10 and go to 20. So I'll just save this. Oh, what am I doing here? There we go. So I'll just, throw in the ./, say example.sh, and let her go. Yeah, and as you can see right here, we're starting at 10. And we should finish up at 20. Yeah, it looks good. So I'll clear this. I'll go back to the website and see what's next. And this guy is just another example of us just changing the start iteration and the end iteration. Sorry, I'm having trouble saying that today. But yeah, we already did that with an example of 10 to 20. This is just an example of 5 to 10. But exact same thing. So I think we can just skip that one. And then right here, we're going to add an additional value to the for loop. And in this example, it's a 3. So this will do exactly what we just saw. It will start with the 10th iteration. It'll start with the first one. It'll end with the 10th one. And by adding this 3 here, it's just indicating that we want to take steps of 3. So yeah, I'm sure you'll see what I mean here in a minute. So I'm just going to copy all this and then go back here Open up our example again. And yeah, I'll just delete all this and paste this stuff in. And save it. Okay, so right at the top, of course, we have our shebang, and then we have our for loop. So similar to the last one, we're going to be starting at 1, and then we're going to end at 10, and we're going to take steps of 3. So just to illustrate what I mean here, maybe I'll just save and quit out of here, and then run it. So ./. And let it run. As you can see here, it started the first iteration and it ended at the 10th, but it took steps of 3. So after the first one, it went to 4, and then 7, and then finally 10. And I think I got one more example for for loops, and then we'll move on to while loops. Okay, and here's our last for loop. So in this one, all we're going to be doing is printing out the names in this list of employees right here. Yeah, maybe I'll explain a little bit better in the terminal. Font's bigger and it's just easier to see over there. So I'll just copy this. I'll put up our example. Delete all this stuff. And throw in this stuff. And save. Okay, up at the top, of course, we have our shebang as usual. And then we have a list of employees right here. And all we want to do is print out each name inside of this list. This is just a little bit of a banner or title. We don't even need that. Just there for show. And then we have our for loop right here. So we're saying for I in employees, which should be this list right here. Do this stuff right here. So echo out what that value is for each item that goes through the list. Sleep for a second. And then keep going until all the items are exhausted out of the list. And the way we specify to use every item in the list is this part right here. So we just throw in the square brackets and the & sign, and that just indicates to exhaust every item in this list. So this loop will just keep going until every item has been printed out on the screen. So I'll just save and quit this and then run it. So we got John, Alice, Tux, May, Jesse, Jade, Lewis, Sarah, Donald. And that's it. So yeah, nothing too crazy. But yeah, if you need to print out the contents of a list, that's certainly one way to do it. And I think that wraps up the for loops. Yeah. So now we're on to while loops. Yeah, before I start displaying this, yeah, I think I'll also explain this after I copy and paste in the terminal. So I'll just copy this. And open up example. And delete all this stuff. And paste this in. Okay, so we got our shebang at the top. And then after that, we have a variable here called count. And we're just giving it a value right off the bat of 1. Now after that, we have a while loop here. So we're saying while true, do this stuff. And all this is doing is echoing out current count and then the variable count, which will be right here. So it'll echo out this value right here. And then it says if count, which is this guy right here, is equal to 5, and then break. So when it does that, it's just going to exit the loop. But if that count doesn't equal 5, and say we're still under that number, it will then add an additional value to that count right here with the count plus plus, and it will then sleep for a second, and then it will continue on with the while loop until it gets to 5. And then when it gets to 5, it's going to break, it's going to close off the loop and then exit the script. So let's give that a shot. So I'll just write and quit and then run it. Yeah, there we got current count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. So it stops at 5. Okay, let's have a look at one more example here. Okay, so last up, we have a bit of a guessing numbers game right here. So yeah, just like with the other examples, I'll just explain it in terminal. A bit easier to see right here. So say vim example.sh and delete all this and paste in this. Okay, right at the top, we got our shebang again. And this time we have two different variables. We got one called magic number with a value of 5. And then we have another one called guess with a value of 0. So this is a numbers guessing game. So as soon as the whole goal is, of course, for the user to guess the magic number, which is 5. So the first thing we're going to do is just print out a user input, just asking the user to provide or to guess the magic number. Giving them a little bit of a hint here that it's between 1 and 10. And then we have our while loop. So it's saying, well, guess is not equal to the magic number. So whenever the user puts anything in or guesses the number, if it's not equal to this value right here, it will do this. And it's just going to prompt the user to enter in the magic number again. And it will keep doing that until the user guesses 5 on that value right there. And then after the user does guess 5, it will then close the loop. And then it will come down here and it'll echo out, you guessed correctly. And it will say the magic number is the magic number, this guy right here. And after that, the script exits and that's it. So let's give this a shot here. So I'll write and quit and then run the file. / Okay, first number, I'll just guess 1 and then 2 and 3 and 4. Maybe I'll skip 5, go with 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I'll try 5. Perfect. So you guessed correctly, the magic number is 5. And I think that's it as far as my examples go. Yep. So yeah, I hope this helped. I think that's pretty much it for this video, as this was just meant to be a general introduction, I guess, into loops. So the main two types of loops that you'll use most of the time in bash scripts will be either a for loop and a while loop. And that goes for a lot of other languages too, as these loops are common into just about every other programming language, as you'll always need a for loop or a while loop somewhere. I'm just trying to think of what else I can tell you here. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys for your support and time that you take to watch these videos. I really appreciate it. And please let me know if there's anything I can improve on, or if there's anything else you may like to see on this channel. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching, and hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.